Tuesday, what we saw during the campaign, and really what it means for the future of the Republican Party here in Ohio and probably even nationally for that matter. And so I've asked John and Jason, who I know you both, who you all know both of them well, to be a part of this and for us to share a few points, share a few things that we saw on the election, and then answer your questions. It's one that while we're sitting here today looking at what happened on Tuesday, it is important to know that we are already engaged in looking forward and taking those results and looking and learning, slicing and dicing the information, certainly waiting on the final numbers out of the Secretary of State and the various boards of elections. But as we look backwards at the election of 2008, we do so with the intent of building a stronger party that is focused on the issues that matter to the people of Ohio in such a way that we will regroup, put together a great cast of candidates from the local level to the statewide level, and compete vigorously for offices and a return to dominance in 2010. So let's take a look at some of the things that happened in 2008, because I think what's important for folks to remember and take a look at, and it's something that's been talked about by the pundits already, is that I think the Republican candidates were far more competitive this year than the political environment would have suggested was historically possible. When you look at the fact that nearly 80% of the nation thinks that we are on the wrong track, and historically 50%, if you're above 50%, that's gonna spell problems for the incumbent party. When 70% of the people disapproved of the incumbent president, and only 4% felt like that the country was better today than it was 4 years ago. That creates a problem for any Republican candidate who's on the ballot. 60% of the people viewed the financial crisis that occurred, and the financial issues and crisis that occurred in September, and the crisis we're in now with the credit crunch and the like, 60% of the people in the nation view it as being worse than the Depression. And so when you look at all of those sorts of political climate issues, and you add on the third term curse, and that only twice since 1928 has either party been able to take 8 years in the White House and win a third term. FDR did it, and Bush did it in '92. Look, the cards were stacked against any Republican candidate who was going to be out there running. I think there are a lot of other factors, a lot of other things that are going to come to prominence over the next days, weeks, and months as we do a breakdown of this election, and the pollsters and the pundits do an analysis of this election, and it happens both here internally at the Ohio Republican Party and in state, but also nationally. But look, there's a lot of other factors here. Messaging. When you look at the fact that the McCain campaign spent much of the time in 2008 on defense, I don't mean national defense, on defense as opposed to offense, trying to separate himself from President Bush, and trying to keep a message on national security and international issues which was his strength, which was Senator McCain's strength, during a time when the most important issue that was facing the nation, and probably the issue that became the most important one during the election, was the economy. And so Senator McCain had his strength was on an issue that candidly wasn't the number one issue facing around the minds of Americans and voters, and he suffered from the fact that Obama was able to talk about change and hope, and this was certainly a change election. And so from a clear messaging standpoint, Republicans and certainly John McCain were on the defensive.